Hello and welcome back to part 3 of my series on making a feature film for zero budget. Part 3 is all about pre-production. The first thing I want to talk about is casting. Cast smart. Actors want footage. They need feature film credits. Those credits help them get an agent and then they can carry on with their career progress. Cast actors with stage experience because they'll be off book and that'll save you time doing more and more takes because they don't know their lines. Now, working with actors who are stage trained on film is the subject of another video we'll talk about later. Profit share or deferred payments. 10% of nothing isn't very much, let's face it, but it does count as a paid credit for the actor. Keep the expectations clear and upfront. State it on all the castings and all the crew calls so that no one can complain later. Make sure they know what they're buying into. Speaking of crew, the minimum viable crew you need to make a film is a director, a DP, a sound mixer, a runner or a helper of some kind, and somebody else who's a bit of a multi-hat person. Planning and scheduling well is the only way that you can pull this off, which is why pre-production is so big. Now, on my film, I didn't have a separate DOP, so you can work around that. Sound is something that you will definitely need to get covered one way or another. Scheduling to survive. I worked on roughly 7 pages of script per day to schedule. On days where the unit has to move, you have to reduce this amount. Dialogue shoots faster than action, if the actors know their lines. My longest day was 9 hours and we shot 16 pages in that day, but it was a very dialogue heavy day and we needed 3 lighting setup changes, I believe. Location clustering. I shot 3 different rooms in my house, passing off as 2 different characters' houses. Limit kit movements by clustering your locations wherever possible, either within the same building or at least the same geography. Working hours. They're not getting paid, so don't take liberties with them and don't be incompetent. We finished early every day apart from the 16-page day. Try and keep it to office hours if it's not paid. Wardrobe. Charity shops and thrift shops are your friend. If you don't have a costume person, delegate it to the actors. Have a look at this graphic. Get them to manage it with a Google photo album and a spreadsheet/calendar. Ask the actors to send you pictures of their clothes that might suit the character or the story. Get details from the actors of sizes, etc. More info is better. Bear in mind, actors have been known to undersize themselves. Blocking. Block as much as you can in advance. Here is a sample of the blocking I did from a scene on Teddy and the Mountain. I just use Canva and some simple graphics, but you can just do it with a pencil as well. Brand sponsorship. Now have a look at this picture. I got AKU hiking boots and Lecky walking poles for free for all the lead cast just by asking. You can ask for free. Many will say no, some will say yes. I didn't get any funds from them, but I did get free equipment, which is still nice. Locations. Visit them, walk around, listen to them, ask questions. If you've got people moving around large areas like I did on a film about hiking, I had route maps for all the locations and I had beta sites for the locations and I walked all of those walks at least twice. What are the limits of what you can do there? Is there a noise limit? Is there something next door that can't have too much noise? Could you not bring a dog because there's a cattery next door? Who knows? Can you move the furniture? Can you use their power? If you can't use their power, you might be in trouble unless you're all on batteries. You will need a location release form before shooting. Get it when they agree to be a location. Much, much earlier than shooting day. And definitely not afterwards because they can derail your entire production. What cars are coming to set and where are they parking? Get the registrations for all the car number plates. Get them logged in advance and make sure that you've got them all on the day as well, in case somebody doesn't turn up or an extra one comes or they come in their wife's car, whatever it might be. Scout the locations in full and fill out location scouting forms. There are lots of them available. I'll probably make some available on my channel, but there are lots of scouting survey forms to fill in that will give you a lot of information that you might not necessarily think to gather. And now, the exciting world of document management. Oh yes, you thought that film was exciting and luxurious and glamorous, but no, document management. Yeah. Here's an example of the file system I use for an entire production. I have blank versions of this file system and I just copy it into a new folder for a new movie, and then I go through the folders and start filling in all the forms. Decide early how you're going to work and manage with your paperwork. I use Google Drive so I could share it with whoever I needed to. Create a folder for every aspect of the movie like I've done, and file your movie like it depends on it, because it might. Score, your musical score. The advice I've got for you on this one is find a master's degree student who is looking for a final major piece. They will be really pleased if they create a full movie score for their master's degree final piece. That to them looks really good, and that to you looks really free. That's exactly what I did, and Daniela, who did it, did a fantastic job, and it was a great thing working together, and I need to do a separate video just about that. When you're working with a composer, you're going to need a music spot list, which is basically some timings, where you want the music to start and where you want the music to end. Maybe someone's walking down a laneway and you need 8 seconds of music. Who knows? From that, the composer is going to make your music. And then you'll create a cue sheet. Now, you're going to need a cue sheet. These are not options, by the way. You need these. You've got to have these for distribution. The cue sheet will say what the title of the piece is, who owns the rights to it, exactly when it starts down to the sub-second point, and when it finishes. And you need that for every point in your movie where there is any music. Also, you're going to need your composer who has created something creative to sign a release form. And that's it. That's it for pre-production. Those are all my hints and tips for pre-production. This is not an instruction on how to do pre-production. These are just my tips on what I did to try and get my budget down to nothing on pre-production. If you like this video, please drop me a like and a subscribe. Part 8 of this series is going to be a live Q&A. Once the part 1 to 7 have been uploaded, I'll wait a couple of weeks after that, and then I'll do the live Q&A where we can just do an Ask Me Anything on anything that we've covered or anything I might have missed, and that will become part 8, and you can be a part of that. Thank you for watching, and see you all in the next video.